And like, I had to like walk through in my head, like, all right, what would a person do getting out of an Uber? You got to put one foot on the ground, put the other foot on the ground, turn to him and say, goodbye.
I've been that high like twice in my life.
Yeah. Dude, it was insane. I'm very stupid when I'm high.
Yeah, me too. I also am a fucking lightweight.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
I'm a wicked lightweight. So when I was at A-Basin the other day, I took like 2 hits. And I like literally I took the first one, like hours apart. I took the first one and I was like, oh shit. I done gone and got too high.
When I was working in the weed industry in California, like I'd go to events all the time and like everyone's just smoking.
All the time.
Like, yeah, all the time. Yeah. And same, I'm a lightweight. And so, you know, even if like you weren't smoking the majority of the weed, you're just getting high from like all the smoke in the air.
It's in the
I'm just
environment.
like, after like 30 minutes, I'm like, cause we'd set up a booth, you know, and I'm just like, I'm going to forget most of this stuff. We're going to lose hundreds of dollars of equipment.
I just wouldn't be able to do my job.
Yeah, it was tough, man.
Yeah.
And you just feel like a bitch because like everyone else can handle it and you can't.
Well,
so I'm just like, dude, I am on another planet right now.
Because there are psychopaths that were born on other planets that can handle 200 milligrams of THC at a time.
Yeah. When I was going to a event in Spain called cannabis.
Why does that sound like the fake meat of cannabis?
Yeah. It's called cannabis. It's in Barcelona.
Sick.
And I was leaving Monday morning from Los Angeles and I had to go to my office, right? And this is when I had already moved to Colorado. So I wasn't in the office. I lived in Colorado. I wasn't in that office. I'd never been to this office before. It was a WeWork.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if you've ever been in a WeWork, but they're like a labyrinth.
Yeah.
And I'd never been in one. I'd never been in this one either. And I was staying at my friend's house and I was about to get in an Uber to go over to the office, to go into the office, find my team, find my company, get some stuff from them, then go to the airport, get on a plane to Spain. And before I left, I like grabbed this drink out of their fridge and I drank it and it was like a tea. And then I'm like riding in the Uber to the office and I just started feeling like real weird. I was like, why do I feel like I'm high right now? And I started like laughing a lot in the back of the Uber and I'm like, what the hell? Like I literally feel like I'm stoned. And then I had this weird memory flash of the night before of Glenn just being like, oh, there's this really strong edible tea in our fridge that it's like doesn't have very clear packaging and someone accidentally took one sip of it over the weekend and they were so high I'd had to go home. And I like that went in one ear and out the other.
Until I drank
the whole thing on accident. And I didn't even taste it. Like this stuff should be illegal.
There shouldn't be.
It became legal sizes. And it should be illegal again.
There shouldn't be serving sizes on like gummy bears or a beverage.
So by the time I get to the office, I'm like basically like no longer like all of my motor functions that are supposed to be running on autopilot were not. So I had to like concentrate on breathing and like I had to like walk through in my head like, all right, what would a person do getting out of an Uber? You got to put one foot on the ground, put the other foot on the ground, turn to him and say, goodbye.
I've been that high like twice in my life.
Yeah. Dude, it was insane. And the only way I got through it is I just was like, all right, like I literally was like I was kind of having like an out of body experience type of thing, except I was like in my own head. So I was like, all right, I'm operating this body and
you're doing this like plankton
in
like a giant Megatron type machine.
Exactly. And so I just told myself, I'm like, all right, I'm on a mission. I have to get through international security and get on a flight. Like I have to. So I'm on a mission and I just try to treat it like a video game or something. And I was like, all right, step 1, go talk to the security officer and ask him how I get upstairs.
Like GTA.
Yeah. I walk up and I'm just like, dude, it's like so just on another planet. And I'm like talking to him. And then he gives me this card. I get upstairs, forgot that I just talked to him. And I'm like, why do I have this thing around my neck? And it was like the card. And then I like have to go talk to the woman at front desk. And I'm like, this is the company I'm with. Where is it? And she's like, oh, it's right down there. And I'm like, okay. And I walked around for what felt like 6 hours. And I just ended up back at the desk. I'm like, God damn it. And then I finally found my office. And like, luckily I work for a weed company. So I just walked right in and I was like, I'm incredibly high and I can't talk to anyone. Please give me the things that I need for my trip. And they all like laughed at me and just gave me the shit. And I just left and somehow made it through security. But yeah, it was bad.
And you had to Uber back home and then get to the airport.
Yeah.
It's a miracle you made it.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah.
Afterwards, like it started wearing off because then I had a long flight, you know, so it started wearing off on the plane. And like by the time, once I got on the plane, it was great because I was like,
oh, I'm
like, oh, I'm just going to pass out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But.
Yeah. That's usually what I need to do in that situation. I remember one time Meg had, her sister brought gummies from Maine, from God knows why would you bring weed to Colorado?
Yeah.
And there were gummies and
you know what Colorado needs?
Yeah, you know what Colorado needs is some more weed, right? So there were gummies, and usually the gummy bears, like the little gummy bears, like the Haribo-sized gummy bears in Colorado are like 5 milligrams.
Yeah.
And so I, you know, being a lightweight, I'll take like 5, maybe 10. 10 milligrams puts me on my ass, right? And so there's these gummy bears, and they were in any packaging. I was just like, oh, they're gummy bears. They're probably 5 milligrams. So I'll take 2, right? I'll just eat 2 of them. And thank God Meg talked some sense into me, because I didn't take 2. We each took 1, and they were 25 milligrams each. And so I was dying by myself, just laughing hysterically at a blank television screen for like an hour and a half, while Meg was having a panic attack in the other room, pacing back and forth because she had to go to work at a hospital the next day. She was like, I'm still gonna be high. And I couldn't help. I was like, I'm useless.
Good thing I didn't take 2.
Dude, it's a really good thing I didn't take 2. But I mean, I just had to sleep.
Yeah, it's kind of, I think it's one of the scariest things while you're in it. If you get too high.
If you get too high, yeah.
There's a lot of people who can't experience that, or like a lot of people who have such a high tolerance that they don't experience, or maybe they've experienced it back in the day, but they don't anymore. And like, so for those people, good for you. Yeah. But for the rest of us,
congratulations.
Yeah. For the rest of us, it's terrifying when it's happening, but afterwards, it's actually kind of like cool.
It is kind of cool. And
I appreciate it afterwards.
Yeah. Well, one, you like got to survive a panic attack basically and get through it. And you know you can do that. And yeah, it's kind of funny afterwards.
Put some hair on your chest.
Put some hair on your chest. Whiskey and 100 milligrams of THC.
Yeah.
Or for me, 25. But
all right.
What are we talking about? Now that we've talked enough about
story time.
Yeah. Getting too high, TH for those listening. Today I have a really cool question, and I got this while listening to one of my other favorite podcasts from Cody McBroom, which is the Tailored Tailored Life podcast, I believe it's called. But I really liked his thoughts on this, and so I wanted to talk about it, and I want to ask you. The question is, do you hate losing more than you love winning, or do you love winning more than you hate losing?
That's a good question.
Yeah. How do you feel?
I think personally, I hate losing more than I love winning.
I did too. For like the longest time.
Is that bad?
Well, no. I think most people would say that. And to be honest, I would have said that up until Cody changed my mind.
Really?
I've always hated losing. I've always been like, honestly, when I was a kid, I was not a good loser.
Yeah.
Like I was used to winning, first off. And like, fuck that. The participation trophy shit really fucks you up.
Yeah.
And I remember like, dude, okay, so playing majors baseball, which was, I think, ages like 10, 11, and 12, maybe. We won the championship 2 out of 3 years. One of the years we were undefeated, I think 2 of those years. The 1 year we lost the championship, dude, I was a fucking mess.
Really?
I was beside myself. Like I wouldn't even spend time with my teammates. I was really bad at losing. And I had to learn how to be better at losing by losing.
Yeah.
Right. But the reason that my perspective on this was changed is that, dude, you have to lose.
Yeah.
Like you have to lose in order to win. And I've been saying this for a long time without even realizing what I was saying, that like every loss is a lesson. Every loss can be a lesson if you let it. Throughout all my surgeries, I've always looked for a lesson. Yeah, it was a loss. I didn't necessarily like lose a thing. I didn't like lose a competition or like an event, but there was always a lesson.
Setback.
Huge setback. Like that's a life loss.
Yeah.
Right. But there was always a lesson. You have to lose to win, but you're only a fucking loser if you don't learn from it.
Yeah.
So yeah, losing can suck, but that's a learning opportunity.
You only lose money in the stock market when you sell. Dogecoin to the moon.
Dogecoin to the moon. Yeah. So no, you have to lose.
Yeah.
And you have to learn even more importantly. This kind of reminds me of, well, we talked about participation trophies. I think that this was a massive negative impact from them. Like kids didn't think they lost for a lot of their lives, probably. Like you still get a trophy. They're like, hey, I won something.
Yeah. Like,
no, you fucking lost. Figure out what you need to do better. So I hope there's not still doing participation trophies. If any parents are listening and they have kids, let me know. I want to know that. But the other thing it makes me think of is like everybody knows one of these kids, like or these people who always got their way growing up. Like the kid that needs to be punched in the face. You know that kid that's never been punched in the face?
Yeah.
Yeah, that kid needs to get punched in the face. Like that kid needs to lose. Because otherwise he's never going to learn anything. Like if everything's given to him all the time or you all the time, then like you're never going to learn. You need to lose. And you need to react positively to those losses.
100%.
Yeah.
I have an anecdote from when I played football.
Let's get it. I was just going to ask if you had any, like most of my experience with losing comes from sports.
Yeah.
I learned so fucking much from sports and I know you played a lot. So yeah, let's hear it. What do you got?
Yeah. There was three main lessons that I remembered learning from my short time playing football. But when I got a little bit older afterwards, I looked back and I was like, damn, those are like three things that I learned from that I implement in my life. And the big number one is exactly what you're saying. So like our coach would never punish us for like missing a tackle. So like missing a tackle is a mistake that you make, right? We would never get punished for the mistake or like missing the tackle. You get punished for how you act afterwards. Mm-hmm. So like they would call it like hanging your head. But if you just like drop your head and you're like, oh, fuck, or whatever. Well, those are like 3 seconds gone by and now the guy's really gone.
Yep.
Like what you're supposed to do is you miss a tackle, you just jump up and run after them. Cause you don't know what's going to happen. They might slow down. They might get, bumped by somebody else or whatever. And then you can finish the tackle. And instead of them getting a touchdown, it's not as bad. Mm-hmm. So you basically like the lesson is you're always going to make mistakes. People are always going to make mistakes like constantly, but how you react afterwards is really the only thing that matters because that's when you're learning and that's when you're like leaving. If you react like poorly to the mistake, you're just leaving yourself open for like disaster versus if you try to like finish through and correct the mistake or whatever, then it's not going to be as bad or you're at least going to learn from it.
Yeah. It's not going to be as bad. And I think a lot of the learning from that one probably comes a little bit in the moment and then a lot from watching tape.
Yeah.
Because you want to know, like, okay, how did I fuck up? How did that guy get by?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you look back on it, you learn. But yeah, there's a sense of urgency with your reaction time.
Yeah.
Where you can like seriously mitigate the potential damage from a mistake. I like 100%. That one. Yeah. What else you got?
Yeah. The other two, which I think are just good, like life lessons, is like showing up on time. So if we showed up, if you get to like practice starts at 5 a.m., say, if you're there at 5, you're late. Mm-hmm. And if you're there at 5:05, you're like,
you're really fucking
kicked off the team.
Yeah.
And so like practice starts at 5, so you're there at like 4:40. Mm-hmm. And like that was like that was a big lesson for me on like, you know, time management. I think that's a big one. And then like the other thing we would get punished for is running through the line. So if you're practicing and you're doing sprints and you're sprinting from this line to this line, you're sprinting until you go through that line.
Yeah.
So you start sprinting here. This is your end zone. You don't stop sprinting until you've passed that line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't let off the gas.
Your natural reaction is to slow down and end at that line, but you don't want to like let off the gas until you've passed the line.
Yeah.
And that's like another like important lesson I think that I've taken with me.
Yeah, we definitely got in trouble. Like if you didn't run through the line, you had to do the sprints again.
Yeah.
If anybody on the team didn't run through the line, you had to do the sprints again. And then, you know, coach would be like, well, you guys did great for 95% of that.
Yeah.
But that 5% you let up, like that doesn't fly.
Yeah.
But that is a really valuable lesson. Like you finish what you start and you finish it with 100% of the effort that you started it with.
100%.
I think those are valuable lessons. And it you know, a lot of it comes down to, well, one, reacting to things positively and giving your best effort. And constantly searching for the lesson. But I think you were talking about your reaction time, like not hanging your head. Yeah. In the time that you're responding negatively to that one thing, more bad things could be happening. Like more negative things could be happening. So it's almost like there's this concept that how you react to things quite literally does determine your future.
Yeah.
So a lot of people react negatively to things for a long time. They'll hang their head and then more negative things are happening down the road. They're also leaving their teammates down.
Yeah.
They're letting their teammates down.
I'm kind of like sick right now. So like imagine like your white blood cells, your immune system, like they let a germ in, they let a virus in, whatever. I don't know what it is. I've got like a little cold. They let some germs in, right? That was a loss. Imagine if they just gave up. I'd be dead.
Dude,
I would be dead.
Die. Yeah, you would die.
They don't hang their head.
No.
They just go and do their damn job.
They do their fucking job.
They don't complain. They just do their job.
They also don't have emotions.
Yeah.
They're just
do your job.
Just do your job. The Patriots slogan makes a lot more sense to me now.
Yeah.
I mean, I always got it, but it just be a fucking white blood cell.
For sure. Be a white blood cell. Go watch the Magic School Bus and learn about white blood cells. And then be one.
And then be one of those.
Yeah. For real.
We need, by the way, we need Magic School Bus back for like, to explain most of what I talk about in physiology.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
Yeah. Magic School Bus, Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Bill Nye's a G, by the way.
Bill.
Yeah. Bill's a G.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a cool dude.
So how did Cody McBroom convince you to like winning more than hate losing?
Literally just because of the fact that you have to lose in order to get better. Like you're either a loser or a learner.
Yeah.
Like if you're a loser, you lose and you don't take anything from it. So there's really no losing. There's winning and learning.
Yeah. I think,
so,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's really true.
I don't fucking lose. And I've done that for a long time, you know, going through a lot of my health struggles and shit like that. Like it took a while for me to get to that point, but like I'm looking for the lesson. I'm looking for why is this happening for me? Because nothing happens to me anymore. So I'm always looking for the lesson. And so, yeah, no, I don't lose anymore. Yeah. I just learn.
That's the ideology behind religion, I think. Like that and why, you know, I think like a lot of people that are more religious, like I think that's the appeal to religion, is that like anything bad that happens to you, there's a purpose or a lesson behind it. And so you focus on finding what is the purpose to this thing happening to me, instead of like, oh my God, this thing's happening to me. You know what I mean? And like, I'm not religious. Like you don't have to be to like, I don't think you really you don't have to be like religious or spiritual or this or that or anything to observe something, see some good and bad qualities of it, and take some of the good ones for yourself. And like, I think that's a perfect example of that. Like if something bad is happening to you, or you're in a really rough patch, or maybe you're in your like 30s and the first 30 years have been shit for you, or they feel like they have been, like, there's a reason. And that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you or anything wrong at all. You can look at your situation and see like, what are the lessons behind this, and what do I do next, basically? Yeah, but you have to be able to, that's a hard thing to do. Yeah. Especially when you're down that far, when you're buried that down deep in, perhaps your rock bottom. It's really hard to think and look at things in a positive light. And I agree with your point on like, everybody can relate to some of those religious things. I know when I was going through my 2016, 17 surgery, whenever my esophageal rupture was, I would come across things on the internet that would be similar to like, when things aren't going your way, just remember like, God's plan is greater than your dream, or like the teacher is always silent during the test, all sorts of weird shit like that. And I'm not super religious. I consider myself more spiritual, but like, I can still relate to it. Yeah. But it takes a lot to be able to think positively, and reacting to. There's a lot of people who don't understand that though, and they don't think positively about anything. No, they don't. And then guess what happens? Understand that like you're so wrong, dude. And guess what happens when you react and think negatively to shit? Like you get more negative shit. Yes. Like attracts like. This is actually one of the most interesting and kind of the funniest things I noticed. We still haven't released the secret episode of my microdosing journey. Yeah. But one of the things that I think back on all the time, because I thought it was fucking hysterical, is shit was just funny, dude. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. I was able to laugh at myself in the most positive way with much less harmful self-talk. And like, I'd be downstairs and say I have like the dish rack or something, and I'm like cleaning my blender bottles and I'm putting them on the dish rack. And then all of a sudden it's like fucking Jenga and they all start falling down. And it's just like madness in the house. And like, I think a lot of people would get really pissed. Yeah. And they'd get really fucking frustrated. And I'm like crying, laughing to myself because I think it's so fucking funny. And I noticed that like negative shit didn't really happen to me. Yeah. So that's something that I've taken from that, is like, react to things positively. More positive things will happen to you. I know a lot of people will get stuck in this negative feedback loop of like, something bad happens and then something else bad happens. And like, the bad shit is happening because you're allowing the bad shit to happen. They say bad things happen in threes. Like, if you believe that, then more bad shit's going to happen. But because if you react negatively to like the adversities in your life, you're inviting room for more adversity. Yeah. You're creating a negative feedback loop. And that's where like that type of thinking occurs. But like, react positively, learn from it, or laugh at it. If it's something stupid like spilling your blender bottles all the fuck over the kitchen floor. Have a good time. Like, little shit doesn't actually matter that much. Like attracts like, good vibes attract good vibes. Positivity attracts positivity. Like, if you can change your perspective and you can control your response on these little things, you can quite literally change the direction of your fucking life. Yeah. And I think that it's easier to, like, now that I've been spending so much time working, I've got all these different like businesses things going on, and like I work a lot, and it was really easy for me to kind of fall out of like a good fitness routine. Mm-hmm. And that's happened to me before with like injuries or whatever it is. Like back in the day, I like broke my wrist, had surgery. I was I didn't really work out for a long time. I was like out of the gym. And then it's like you get in that position where you've fallen behind and you're like, all right, I got to get the wheels turning again. And it's like literally like it, what comes hand in hand with falling out of a fitness routine is generally not eating well. Like you get in a negative spiral. Mm-hmm. And I've over the years of like doing this multiple times, I've really come to understand the like snowball. Because as quickly as things negatively snowball, they just as quickly positively snowball. And you want to know how you start that? With one glass of water.
Yep.
Or one healthy meal. Like you're like, I'm gonna go get that burrito again. No, I'm just gonna cook for myself. That's literally all it takes sometimes. And the less practice you have with it, yeah, it's not gonna be that easy. But the more times you do it, like for me personally, I know it's one workout. Mm-hmm. I do one workout and then I'm like, oh shit, what have I been doing? Like, this is way better. You know what I mean? And so that's really like, I think that's really the answer is like, think about how how do things negatively snowball? You're like, can't do this thing. So then you're like, oh, fuck it. I'm just going to eat whatever I want. And then, then you're drinking a lot and whatever.
Yeah. People go like all or nothing.
Yeah. And so if something can negatively snowball, things can positively snowball.
Yeah. It just takes more effort to positively snowball things. And that's fine. Like you let yourself get there get to the place where you need to positively snowball things in the first place.
Yeah.
So what I'd like to think of is, especially in bodybuilding where like we want to be perfect and regimented all the time, you're developing these healthy habits. We hope they're healthy habits in fitness and health in general. You're developing these healthy habits to give you a long, sustainable, happy, and healthy life. And the longer you can sustain those things, the more successful you're going to be. But next time you're at the gym or next time you're at the store or next time you have a situation placed in front of you where you have the option of continuing to do what you've been doing or fall off just like the tiniest bit, you're opening up a window of opportunity to do that again.
Yeah.
So if you're doing your workout and, granted, maybe you're fucking dying, like, I just shared a post recently about, sometimes I only do like 1 or 2 sets per exercise because I know how to train very well to failure. But if you open up a window to, instead of 30 minutes of cardio, you only do 25 or you stop at 29, even if you stop at 29.50, you've opened up a window to not do 30 minutes of cardio.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen?
Yeah.
It's going to be easier for you to not do 30 minutes of cardio because that's just the way humans are. And that 29.50 might turn into 29 because it's close enough to 30, right?
Yeah.
But it's not fucking 30. So you're developing habits. Don't let them slip. That's the best way to not have things negatively snowball is make them non-negotiables, everything you do. And that's in your business, in your life, in your relationship, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Make them non-negotiables.
And, what's why are you doing it? Like, what's the outcome? You know what I mean?
And I talk like,
about why are you doing
all the time.
Why are you doing it? If the 30 minutes of cardio, like you can't do it, like what's the outcome that you want? Do you need to, if you have an outcome that you want to accomplish, do you need to do that 30 minutes of cardio? And if the answer is yes, then then do it. And if you still can't do it, then like, is there something else that you could be doing? You know what I mean? Like, is there a different type of, like, why is it so like miserable to do that? Like, is there a different type of thing that you could be doing? But like, if something is tough, like, I don't know. I always just focus on, all right, what's the outcome that I'm trying to accomplish? And like, that's why I'm doing this thing.
That's intent. That's intent. That's intent based. That's one of my 3 pillars: execution, intensity, and intent. It's like, why are you doing this thing?
Yeah.
You walk into the gym, you see people moving and working and performing exercises. And I bet you walk up to half of them and you're like, hey, why are you doing this? And I bet half of them wouldn't be able to give you a good answer.
Yeah.
Like, why are you doing squats? Like, what is the intent? What is your intention behind the squats? Are you actually doing them that way? Like, are you focused or are you just moving from A to B?
Yeah.
Everything you do with intent. That's going to help you get closer to your goals. Every single thing, like if you just ask yourself, why the fuck am I doing this? Mm-hmm. And then when you have a good answer, perform that activity or that movement or that act or that service in order to get the best result for that answer.
Yeah.
Live your life with intent.
Yeah, that's how I've been doing things recently. It's like so when I moved out here, my goal was like, all right, I'm going to invest in real estate. But like I hadn't really learned a lot about it before. So, I mean, I just get like obsessed with things. My obsession kind of like changes, but I'll get like obsessed with things for like periods of time. And so like, I'm like, every time I'm, what books am I reading? What podcasts am I listening to? What am I doing while I'm in the car? What am I doing while I'm working out? All of those things all became like information to get me to that point. Cause I was like, I have to learn a lot. So every single, when I had any downtime, I think Tony Robbins calls it like, he's like, when you're whatever you want to call it, on the come up or learning or trying to figure something out, he calls it like no neutral time. So he's like, when you're in the car, if you're traveling, when you're on a plane, like, what are you doing? Are you just sitting there staring off into space? Are you reading a book about like vampires having sex with humans and whatever? Like, what are you doing on the airplane? You know what I mean? Like that's all time that you don't have to, you can do, there's lots of different things that you could do, but you can spend that time to get yourself to a goal. And if you don't have a goal or you don't have like, that's probably a good place to start. Like
accountability.
What do you want to be like accomplishing?
Yeah. Figure out your goal and then get someone to hold you accountable to it. Cause listening to you talk about this, it's exactly how I am in my business and with my fitness, where like almost everything I do is to be a better bodybuilder and a better business owner.
Yeah.
Almost everything, down to like the music I listen to. And I talked about this on one of my Instagram stories recently about how I quite literally select my music based on a lot of times, like, am I going to the gym? Do I have to be sympathetic and hyped up? I'm listening and paying attention to my heart rate. Like I'm paying attention to the food that I'm eating. When am I eating that food? Do I have access to food? Like almost my sleep, almost every part of my schedule is based on being a better bodybuilder and a better business owner.
Yeah.
Because I'm fucking obsessed. Because if you want to be great at anything, you have to be obsessed. So find what you're obsessed with and like be obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Create a life around it. Don't like leave your family and shit, but I'm not telling you to like leave your family, but be obsessed. It's going to make you a better human and be aware, be in tune with yourself, be in tune with what you're feeling, how you're doing, how you're learning. Be astute. If you lose, if you fuck up, why? Don't just keep going and like not learn from it. Figure out why you fucked up and get better.
Yeah.
Be a learner, not a loser.
Hell yeah.
Live your life with intent and react positively to things.
Those are good lessons.
Those will change your fucking life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bang.
Boom.
That's it. I hope that was good. That was a quick 30 minutes. I mean, 10 of it was just us telling stories about weed.
Yeah.
But I think
do you want to hear more insane stories?
Yeah. Do y'all want to hear more ridiculous stories?
More.
Travis and I have traveled the world and done really dumb shit. So if you guys want an episode of dumb stories, honestly, it would be like a series of episodes.
Yeah.
At this point with the places
probably can't talk about most of them.
We definitely can't talk about most of them.
Per the Geneva Convention.
I was gonna say until like what is it called when like you can't get arrested for something anymore?
Oh yeah, statute of limitations.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if that translates internationally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not that I do illegal things.
What, have you committed war crimes in Yugoslavia?
They're just probably not legal in America. I don't know.
Josh is wanted for war crimes in Yugoslavia.
I don't think so. I did wake up with a tattoo in Cambodia though, so who knows what I did.
Big time.
Did you too?
Thailand.
Woke up with a tattoo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's photos of it.
Yeah. I have some photos, but mostly I just woke up with paper towels in my mouth. So sorry mom, I have a face tattoo if you're listening to this.
That's what the beard.
That's why I have dude, imagine if
It's all just like a thick tattoo under your beard.
Could
you shave for the wedding? No, I cannot.
I had trouble growing in this one spot in my beard, and so I just had them tattoo it.
Yeah.
My beard's not even real.
It is. His beard actually is a tattoo.
My beard is made of needles, ink, and testosterone. Oh my God. All right. Well, yeah, no, I'd definitely love to do more episodes like that. I think that would be funny. So let us know if you want to hear some dumb shit. We can change the name of this podcast. But until then, we're going to keep talking about the shit we've been talking about. We appreciate all of you. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this one. It was fun and a little bit last minute, but you got a glimpse into basically just how Travis and I talk to each other on a daily basis.
Pretty much.
I guess. Yeah, we just shoot shit. So
thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for hanging out, y'all. We'll see you next time. Another episode of the Struggle Strength podcast. Later.